evening, and thank you for joining me. Tonight we are going to be discussing the sub-denomination of the French Huguenots. And the Huguenots were French Protestants rooted in the Reformed theology of John Calvin. The Huguenots articulated their key tenets in the Gallican Confession of the Faith in 1559. These tenets included, but were not limited to, liturgical Calvinistic Protestant principles of sola scriptura, sola fide, sola gratia, and a predestinarianistic view of God's sovereignty, as well as the priesthood of all believers. They saw severe persecution in France throughout the 16th century until 1598, when King Henry IV attempted to end the religious turmoil in France by signing the Edict of Nantes, in which he declared the Catholic Church as the official church of France, while still giving significant rights to this relatively small group of Protestants in France. The edict allowed for a significant amount of religious and individual freedoms to be restored to these Calvinistic Protestants. However, in 1685, King Louis XIV revoked the Edict of Nantes in 1685, and now the Huguenots once again became the direct recipients of intolerance from the Catholic monarchy of France. Fleeing the extreme levels of religious persecution, the Huguenots left in waves, with an estimated 200,000 Huguenots leaving France between 1680 and 1710, first finding their way into England and the Netherlands, from which they made their way to the two primary locations in America, New York and the Low Country of South Carolina. This mass migration made them among the earliest settlers in South Carolina and is one of the first significant examples of a non-English group coming to America for religious tolerance. Initially, the Huguenots worshipped among themselves with an English translation of the French liturgy. As many Huguenots were a generation removed from France due to the path they took to escape from the French persecution before coming to Carolina, many of the names of the Charleston families and streets don't tend to match the traditional French pronunciation, such as Hugy Street, spelled Huger. Nevertheless, the number of Huguenots in Charleston by 1687 warranted the formation of a separate congregation. Unlike other denominations, the Huguenots blended into the everyday society of South Carolina. However, they did not embrace full conformity. As early as the second generation of Huguenots in South Carolina, there was already a significant amount of intermarrying and attending church with those from other denominations, due to the lack of and general dissatisfaction with their clergy. Over time, the Huguenots began assimilating into the broader Anglican community, leaving only the French congregation in Charleston by 1706. The Huguenots may have assimilated quickly into the other denominations of the pluralism of Charleston's religious landscape. However, they did leave their lasting mark on the French Quarter in Charleston, one of the city's oldest parts, noting their impact on the city and the state. Notably, the 1845 version of their church still stands on the corner of Church and Queen Streets. A significant marker of the colonial impact of the Huguenots can be seen on the church's walls, as they make sure to identify that George Washington visited the church during his southern tour in May of 1791. You can still be a part of the rich historical tradition of the Huguenot Church in Charleston, as it meets every Sunday with one French service per year.